Jeannie Goodwin here, executive coach, relationship expert, author of How to Win Her and Influence Him. Okay, so last time I began talking to you about your relationships, specifically how to get the respect, the support, even the love you need to succeed in life from men without resentment, without fighting, without firing, and without leaving. And today, my goal is to continue to show you how you can make any relationship better without sacrifice, without brown nosing, without without manipulation, and without burnout. Because we all know at the core of our being that it's our relationships that count in life, especially when tragedy hits. When tragedy hits, it's like this spotlight hits your life and you focus on the things that really matter, the things that matter to your heart, and it's relationships that are your life. But that doesn't make them easy, just because they really count. One of my mentors, Tony Robbins, he said, relationships are the crucible of personal development. Boy, do I agree with that, because there's nothing in life that will challenge you like relationships will. It's where the fire hits the pan, so to speak. Relationships are the place you have to show up, and you have to show up real. You can't fake relationships, because as soon as they figure it out, you won't have one. So for all of us, getting the support, the collaboration, even the connection that you need, it can be hard. It can be exhausting, it can be confusing, it can even be painful. And for women, there can be a real challenge trying to get the support you need from men at work and at home. You know what I mean? When's the last time you felt like he was ignoring you when you talked? Have you ever felt like Charlie Brown's teacher? You know, when you talk, he hears wah, 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 wah. Nothing's going through. Or does he talk over you? You don't even get to finish a sentence and you feel like what you have to say is maybe unimportant or stupid, or maybe he even tells you that was a stupid idea. Or maybe he cuts you off in order to tell you that what you're doing is wrong. And of course, this is long before he's listened long enough to know what you're even talking about. Have you ever had him not look you in the eye when you're talking? He's busy doing something else, as if anything else is more important than you and listening to you and what you have to say. When's the last time he ran over your ideas instead of listened fully to everything you wanted to talk about? You talked them through in detail, but he just ran you over because he had a plan. It's the right plan, and this is the only plan that will be talked about. Have you ever experienced this? Or how about when he doesn't even remember that he said he'd do something for you, and then when you ask him about it, he looks at you like, huh? You know, you get that kind of deer in the headlights look. What? Does it sound familiar? Working with men can be a real challenge, but it doesn't have to be, and truthfully, I don't think it actually should be. Because I believe we were made to work together. We were made to collaborate with each other. We were made to give each other strengths and abilities that we don't have on our own. Together, we really can achieve more. The real trick is working together without killing each other. You know what I mean? Okay, so that's why I put this together for you. I mean, really, how's it going to feel when he actually listens to all you want to say and he doesn't interrupt you or fix you? How much are you going to be able to get done in your life when not only are you backing him, but he's backing you? And how happy will you be when you have the time and the energy to go after your dreams? And how great is it going to feel when your relationships are give and take instead of you give, and others take? How much fun will come back into your life, into your career, into your home when the respect flows in both directions again? So the last time we talked about secret number 1. How you can easily transform a relationship no matter what you're going through so you can actually both get what you need. And I showed you how you can easily transform a relationship. I showed you how I did it in my marriage. This is how I learned the secrets in the first place. I showed you how it was done in business relationships. I even showed you how it was done with a woman who was yelling at across the street. She was yelling, but it was not a problem. Now, if you weren't with me last time, go back and watch it because it was really powerful. Today, I want to talk to you about secret number 2. How to get the man who is standing against you, fighting you, to come on over on your side, happy to help you on your side. Many people start relationships, filled with hope. We're excited. I got a new job. You're excited. You hope you're going to do really great work together. You're expecting really great things. Or you fall in love and you expect it's just going to get better from there. You're going to grow and grow and grow in love as the years roll by. But do you know what the number one reason people quit a job is? The number one reason is because of people problems. They don't quit because of lack of opportunity. They don't quit because of money. The number one reason people quit is because of people. 75% of people who voluntarily leave their jobs, they quit their bosses. They quit their teams. Only 12% of those people who actually leave on their own leave for money reasons. And divorce rates are over 50%. Well, when you get married, do you think, okay, it's a 50-50 shot, let's roll the dice and see if this is going to work? No, you don't think that. But those are the odds. And over half of us are quitting on each other. Over half of us. This is an epidemic. People problems. I once read a study that said the average person changes jobs, even careers, between 10 and 15 times before the age of 30. That's a lot of quitting. Why do we quit on each other? Well, relationships require a respectful understanding of our differences in order to make them work. And we actually tend to enter relationships excited about what we can do together, but not actually thinking about our differences and how we can work best together. So to build a long-term, healthy, happy relationship, team, partnership, you need to see each other through your differences. Without understanding your differences, respect dies. Collaboration dies. Communication dies. And love dies. And it's all replaced by fighting, by positioning, by fixing, and by butt covering. You know why? Because it's all about you. It's all about the way you see things. It's about the things that you want, the way you want to be treated, the goals you have, and how right you are and how wrong they are. Does this sound familiar? Usually, relationships die slowly in 2 ways. Let's talk about the first one today. Every time you try to alter or fix or improve the other person in the relationship or your partner, that's right, you heard me, it's the F word of relationships, fix. I can't tell you how many times people say to me, Jeannie, can you fix him? Can you fix her? They are the problem. When people come to me for help, they don't say, hey, help me build a better relationship. They say, fix them. But every time you do this, you're actually sending the message that that person's not good enough. They don't deserve to be respected. They don't deserve to be listened to. They don't deserve to be loved for who they are, or something's wrong with them. And they just need to be fixed. And you're perfect. Well, this can make your boss, your coworkers feel like they can't work with you. And it can absolutely kill your partner's ability to feel your love even when it's still there. So that was the F word, fix, in relationships. Now the B word in relationships, this kills as well. And that's blaming the other person, fixing them or blaming them. Because they're broken, they're wrong, they're selfish, they're stupid, they need to be fixed. This doesn't work. so it cannot get you what you want. And even if you do quit and move on and try to go fix somebody else, you're going to run into the same relationship problems, the same ones, because people are everywhere and none of them are perfect. You know, in the beginning of my career, I was working in Los Angeles at an advertising agency. And this was my dream job. I was living the dream. I was really happy. I was working hard. I was really enjoying the work. And one day my boss comes up to my desk and he's got a project in his hand. And he leans over and he's going over the parameters of the project with me. You know, this is what we're trying to achieve and this is the timeline and he's just going over the parameters of what the project entails. And then he just stops talking right in the middle of it. And after about a minute of awkward silence, he said, "You know what, Jeannie, forget it. I don't think you can do this. Don't do it." And then he just turns around and walks away. Well, okay, so I took another look at the project that he left on my desk, and I'm going through it, and I'm like, you know, I can do this. I can do this. I know I can do this. So I buckled down, and I got to work, and I spent the whole afternoon, even into the evening, and even I was wonderfully surprised at how great the project came out. You know, when you challenge yourself, I can do this. I went home late that night and I was feeling great. I was feeling so proud of myself and the work that I did that day. And I left the project on his desk late that night. I came into work the next morning. Now I'm excited. I'm like really proud of myself. I couldn't wait to see my boss's face. And he walks into my office with the project in his hands and he says, "Jeannie, what's this?" And I was excited. I said, "That's the project. That's the project you gave me yesterday. I did it." And he looked at me and he said, "I asked you not to." Well, yeah, but I could do it. Look at it. It's really good. I did it. It's good. And he said, "You're fired." Honestly, I was stunned. I got fired for doing good work. Man, talk about feeling like a man was standing against me. It just didn't make any sense to me. I was completely stunned. And that's when he said, "I can't work with you because I can't trust you to take any of my directions." It didn't matter in the least to him that I could do what he thought I couldn't do and that the work I did was good. In fact, better than he or I thought I could do. What mattered to him was I wasn't on his side. And I lost my dream job over it. You know, there was a very successful businessman that I met. He was a multimillionaire and he read my book, my best-selling book, How to Win Her and Influence Him. And he was raving about my book. He was so kind. He bought it for people that he cared about. He got online. He gave me a glowing review. And I was talking to him about some training that I do for women, training women how to create healthy, strong relationships with men, just like I'm doing now. And he said, "These women are learning about men just so they can manipulate them into doing what they want." Manipulate them. That's the M word that kills relationships. Manipulate them. This high-powered businessman believed that women manipulate men to get what they want. And he had obviously had firsthand experience of women trying to fix him for his own good. And this is really important because if you're thinking that you have to manipulate as a woman in order to get what you want or what you need from a man, that you have to fix the other person, that F word of relationships, in order to make things work. This is a really rough, hard road. And it's going to be filled with firings or quitting because manipulation will not work. And you could feel the force in his voice when he said, "They're trying to manipulate me." It was like mentally, he crossed his arms and went, "No, I will not be moved." You could hear it in his voice. Have you ever run into this? That's what I ran into with my boss in LA. If a man feels manipulated in any way, it's like the testosterone in him rises up to fight against it and to fight against you. And you're going to get a battle on your hands that you are not going to win, because men will not be manipulated. Hey, no one likes to be manipulated, because that's that F word, it's that fixing thing incognito, and it never works. As if there's something wrong with him and he needs to be subtly fixed while he's not looking. Try to just kind of sneak the fix in there. I learned this from the hard way. So I don't teach people to manipulate each other, because it will destroy relationships. It will destroy careers. It will destroy homes. And the last thing I want to do is destroy relationships. So relationships are not about manipulation. They're about understanding and connection. And without understanding, you can't get that connection and you can't have relationship. I was working with a group of CEOs, and they were all men. And I asked a question to the group. I want to say it was about 20 men in the room. Now, up to this point in the training, there's a lot of interaction. Everyone was engaged in the training. There was a lot of laughter. I love to laugh while I'm training, because you learn faster. You have a great time. We were having a really good time working together. We were all really enjoying the training. And then I asked this question. And the room goes silent. You could hear crickets. I was starting to feel, that really uncomfortable feeling that happens when you think it's been quiet for too long. You know how that feels? And I started to feel really awkward as I'm standing there waiting for an answer. And then I started to worry, I lost everyone in the room. And the longer the silence went on, the more awkward I felt. I felt like, say something, Jeannie, fill up this awkward silence to get the room back. Or maybe they just didn't understand the question. Maybe they needed help answering. But I waited for like 5 minutes. It felt like 5 minutes. It was probably more like 20 seconds. You know how this feels. And finally I said, into that awkward silence, I said, well, I guess I lost you all, huh? Now, I should have known better. I mean, I teach this stuff, right? But that uncomfortable feeling, I was trying to get rid of it. But thank God there was one man in there, and he said, no, Jeannie, you didn't lose us. We're thinking. They were thinking. I had forgotten. Men think in silence. Now, if you're a woman, that was only 10 seconds of silence, and it was probably really uncomfortable for you. You might have even checked your computer. Ding, 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 Jeannie, are you there? Did I lose my signal? Because it gets so uncomfortable. Because women think out loud with interaction by talking. This is how women think. That's not how men think. So once I was back on track, the more silence I gave them, the more they were willing to share their deepest thoughts. So I just decided I'm going to take my time, and I'm going to let them think, and it's going to take as long as it takes. And the things they began to share, they were amazing. And that's when real collaboration happens. That's when real innovation begins, and a massive breakthrough happens in an organization, in a team, in a home, when you can begin to openly share your deepest thoughts without holding back, without being afraid of condescension or belittling or being put down. Can you imagine how our world would change if there was no more belittling, no more condescension, no more bullying, no more name calling, no more putting each other down? There'd be no more news. And there'd only be cat videos on YouTube. One of the largest and most expensive workplace studies found that teams that work the best are teams that feel like they have what they called psychological safety. Meaning they could share anything at all without being judged, without being minimized, without being brutalized. It was safe to talk. These were the most effective teams and businesses. Can you imagine what your life would be like with all the negativity in it gone? How peaceful would you feel while you were working without any fear in your workday? How much would you share about your ideas and your thoughts and your creativity because it was safe to do so? In fact, how creative would you get if you didn't have to worry that someone was going to tell you it was stupid? If I had tried to fix these men to think out loud the way a woman does, repeating the question, answering for them, finishing their sentences because they talk too slow, I could have destroyed the whole thing. And they would have looked for someone else to work with, someone who actually understood how they worked. Understanding creates relationships. And fixing each other destroys relationships. Fixing each other, bad. I was coaching a woman. She called me 3 days after her husband had gotten fired from his job. And she told me they were a newly married couple. Just newly married. And it was their second marriage for each of them. And between the two of them, they had a total of 5 children together, and he got fired. Man, this is a tough situation. You got to feed all these kids, and it's brand new, and she's a good wife. She loves her new husband, so she was trying to comfort him. She was trying to support him. And so she said to him, "Honey, we're going to be okay." Now, that sounds like the right thing to say, isn't it? When times get really tough and you lose your job, "It's going to be okay. We're going to be okay," she said to him. But I said to her, "Okay, so how did that work for you?" She said, "Well, honestly, it didn't do anything at all, Jeannie. He's really nervous. He's really scared." I said, "That's right, because you told him what you needed to hear, not what he needed to hear." In order to help him overcome the fear, the feeling of failure, the pressure, he needed to hear something else entirely. He did not need to hear what she needed to hear. And it was vital that she said what he needed to hear. She needed to be on his side. So I told her, "Okay, this is what I want you to do. I want you to get on the phone right now. I want you to call him, and I want you to say these words. I want you to say, 'Honey, I believe in you. I know you're going to fix this, and we are all rooting for you. We're all on your side.'" That's it. That's all she had to say. And she comes back after the phone call, and she goes, "Jeannie, he's a different man." All of a sudden, he's filled with courage. You could feel the change in his voice. He was back, full force, on their side, ready to conquer. Don't you want to be that woman? The woman who charges him up again to go after it after he's had this huge hit? How would it feel to know the words he needed to hear to recharge him? To be the woman who makes him feel like a better man. It's one of my favorite lines from a movie. It's Jack Nicholson in As Good as It Gets. "You make me feel like I want to be a better man." Beautiful line. So I was approached by a woman. She was really struggling at work. And at home as well. And when she started with me, she said, "Jeannie, I'm not doing this work for my marriage because that is hopeless. I have tried it all, and frankly, he's not worth it." I said, "All right. What are you doing this work for?" She said, "Well, I'm doing this for my son. Before it's too late. My son is in his teens, and it's already gotten really hard between us." And so she was in one of my live training events, and she was sitting in the audience, and I was training as I'm doing now. And as I talked, she just burst out in the audience, "That's what's going on!" She figured it out. She had been making the men in her life wrong for the way that they did things and trying to fix them, the F word, in an effort to help them. A couple days after the event, my phone rang, and I picked it up, and I hear this man's voice, and it says, "Is this Jeannie Goodwin?" Kind of like, oh, is he mad? What'd I do? I said, "Yes." He said, "My wife went to your event. What did you do to her?" I said, "Well, sir, what are you experiencing?" And he calmed right down, and he said, "You know, Jeannie, I don't know if she told you, but we actually work together. We have our own company. And now, all of a sudden, after she came home from your event, when we're working in a meeting, she doesn't cut me off when I'm talking. She doesn't demand an answer with more details than I'm prepared to give to her. She's patient. Jeannie, it's like she lets me do my job. She doesn't try to add to all the things that I'm working on. And she doesn't bring up the past in every single conversation. She lets me do my job. But more importantly, it's like suddenly it's okay for me to just be a man. And then the phone went silent for 10 long seconds. And finally he said, "Can you do for me what you did for her? Because I want to give her the gift that she's given to me." Ta-da! Suddenly he was on her side. That's what I'm talking about. That's good work. That's great relationships. So secret number 2, how do you get the man who's standing against you over on your side happy to help you? Stop the F word. Stop trying to fix or manipulate or blame, and learn the way the other person processes and make it okay. Stay patient, stay curious. Just watch them come over onto your side, because people really don't want to be against you. That's it. That's secret number 2 for today. Next time I'm going to take you into secret number 3 as I continue to show you that you can make any relationship better without sacrifice, without brown-nosing, without manipulation, and without burnout. In the meantime, as I always say, what is with my tongue? Go show the one that you love some love, because it'll make your day better. And once again, it fell. I'll see you next time.